Eichel after it in the corner. Works it out. Opozo. Big chance. Oh! What a stop!
It's with no connection really. In front, there it is. And Price makes one of his sensational stops.
Puck over in the neutral zone. Crosby shoots. Great save by Price.
Carey Price never blinked, at least not when rubber was involved. He seized Montreal's crease at 20, rewrote record books with an MVP sweep no goalie had matched in decades, claimed Olympic gold behind laugh-out-loud numbers, and single-handedly lugged an 18-seed Canadiens team to the 2021 final on one battered knee. Somewhere in the middle of that resume sits a simple truth. The puck always lost the staring contest. Yet just as Price seemed destined to chase Roy and Brodeur in the record books, chronic knee pain hit pause, leaving hockey fans to argue whether we witnessed the best goalie of his generation or just the opening chapters of something even greater. Stick around as we unpack the rise, reign, and bittersweet twilight of Carey Price, and decide for yourself how good he actually was. Price's NHL debut on opening night 2007 felt surreal, but the honeymoon barely outlasted the autumn leaves. Montreal's market devours netminders faster than poutine, and by spring 2010, the rookie darling was drowning in booze while playoff folk hero Jaroslav Halak became the city's latest crush. Talk radio debates turned Shakespearean, Halak or Price. Like Hamlet with blocker and trapper, instead of sulking, Price doubled down on fitness and refined a near-silent butterfly, shaving every wasted twitch from his stance. Teammates noticed the transformation first. Extra reps in the gym, hours dissecting video, and a new mantra: be predictable to myself. That self-trust would soon pay compound interest. When Montreal dealt Halak to St. Louis, Bell Center headlines read like a gamble. In hindsight, it was the franchise's smartest bet since drafting a skinny kid named Roy in 1984. Price rewarded that faith with 38 wins and a .923 save percentage in 2010-11, instantly muting the critics. The lesson was clear. Pressure forged his steel, and the hotter the glare, the calmer the eyes. But calm doesn't mean complacent, far from it. With the starting gig secure, Price's year-over-year growth looked like a stock chart in a bull market. He sharpened rebound control to the point where pucks seemed magnetized to his crest, adopting subtle post-integrations that stole inches from shooters who relied on seeing twine. Advanced metrics, then in their infancy, already placed him among league leaders in goals saved above expected, confirming what eyes saw nightly. Yet the true watershed moment arrived not in Montreal, but half a world away, Sochi 2014. Selected to start for Team Canada, Price slammed every international door in sight, finishing the tournament with a cartoonish 0.59 goals against average and .972 save percentage, backstopping gold while allowing exactly 0 goals in the semifinal and final. Even in a roster stacked with all-stars, teammates gushed that the real cheat code wore number 31. Olympic pressure can crush lesser goalies. Price treated it like pond hockey, affirming to skeptics that his calm wasn't passive. It was lethal, and if Sochi crowned him king, the following NHL season would build the statue. Hockey had never seen a Canadiens netminder own a season this emphatically, not even Roy in '93. Price's 44 wins, 1.96 GAA, and .933 save percentage powered Montreal to a 110-point campaign and earned him a hardware sweep. Hart, Vezina, Ted Lindsay, and Jennings. He became the first goalie since Jose Theodore, another Hab, to take MVP, and the first to bundle that with every other major honor in one season since Dominik Hasek's reign of terror. Rival shooters admitted they spent pre-game meetings searching for holes that simply weren't there. By March, the joke was they'd need a cheat code just to hit the post. Price downplayed it in interviews, crediting system play and team defense, but analytics revealed he saved about 35 more goals than an average goalie behind the same shots, essentially turning Montreal's blue line into a luxury rather than a necessity. It was the zenith of technical perfection married to athletic grace, yet destiny seems to resent perfection, and it struck in the cruelest way. Eastern Conference Final, May 2014. Chris Kreider crashed the crease, clipping Price's right leg. Diagnosed as a minor MCL sprain, the injury lingered like a bad chorus. He returned months later, but the knee never fully forgave him, flaring anytime workload spiked. Still, Price's high ankle pain tolerance bordered on perverse. He recorded a .934 save percentage in the first 20 games of 2015-16 before another tweak sidelined him for months. Rehab became an annual ritual, Knee, then hip, then knee again, yet every comeback featured immediate elite numbers. In the 2016 World Cup, he posted another undefeated run, sealing Canada's second gold in 3 years and reinforcing his reputation as hockey's apocalypse button. When healthy commentators agreed he was the world's best goalie, the asterisk was when. Montreal's medical staff refined his practice schedule into load management decades before it went mainstream in basketball, limiting weekday ice time so game day could still look spellbinding. Fans feared the sand was draining, but Price never allowed panic into his voice. Only that familiar hypnotic stare. And just when doubters wrote him off, he orchestrated the most improbable spring in modern Canadiens history. COVID's truncated season dumped Montreal into an all-Canadian division where they squeaked into playoffs as the 18th seed of a 16-team bracket. Price had missed the final weeks with a concussion, so skeptics predicted a swift exit. Instead, he authored a goaltending clinic. In round 1, he erased a 3-1 series deficit against a 115-point Maple Leafs squad, posting a .944 save percentage over the last 3 games. He then suffocated Winnipeg, sweep, and stonewalled Vegas's high-octane offense with preposterous glove saves that turned highlight reels into Price mixtapes. Through 22 postseason games, he carried a .924 save percentage and 2.28 GAA, sparking Montreal's first final berth since 1993. The Lightning finally cracked the spell. Tampa's depth exposed Montreal's thin roster, but the run cemented Price's mythology. Give him any chance and he can drag 5 skaters to the sport's grandest stage. Everyone wondered whether he and the city might squeeze out one more fairy tale. Instead, the knee wrote the epilogue. Post-final swelling revealed meniscus damage and alarming cartilage erosion on the femur. Surgeons attempted repair in July 2021, projecting a mid-season return. Instead, rehab stalled, inflammation persisted, fluid returns became routine. By September 2022, GM Kent Hughes admitted Price's knee has not responded to any kind of treatment, and the team parked him on long-term injured reserve with no timetable. Price laced up for 5 emotional home games in April 2022, stopping 101 of 111 shots. Proof the talent never left, but swelling after each outing convinced doctors he risked permanent mobility loss if he continued. A year later, Price called an NHL return unlikely without a miracle, candidly accepting retirement in all but name. He shifted focus to family life, indigenous activism, and hunting trips where knees endure fewer butterflies. Yet he remains a fixture at Bell Center charity events, lumbering down corridors with a grin that says gratitude replaced grief. So how do we measure a legend whose story shuddered to a stop mid-sentence? Raw accounting stats already paint Price as rare air. His 361 wins eclipse every goaltender who has ever worn the CH crest, a franchise that's existed since 1909. But vacuum cleaner totals don't capture the sorcery hidden in the decimals. Public models that blend shot location, pre-shot movement, and traffic rank Price first in cumulative goals saved above expected from 2010 through 2020, comfortably clear of Henrik Lundqvist and Tuukka Rask. In layman's terms, if an average goalie would have allowed 1,500 goals behind Montreal's defenses during that span, Price surrendered roughly 1,350, transforming bleak nights into improbable wins. Technically, he was the anti-Roy. No swaggering snow shower, no Statue of Liberty glove flashes. Instead, Price compressed motion to the last possible microshift, letting the puck reveal its secrets before he struck. Teammates said he moved like a screensaver, sliding only when the screen changed. Former Hab PK Subban swears he once saw Price shift just 2 inches to stop a one-timer labeled for the corner, then wink as if physics were optional. Even shooters who beat him recalled the black hole effect, then quote, "The puck goes in, but you still feel like you missed." Advanced tracking backed up the eye test. From 2013-14 through 2018-19, Price led the NHL in high danger save percentage despite Montreal ranking bottom 3rd in suppressing slot chances. Analysts coined the term Carey tax. Coaches adjusted their shot quality metrics upward because they knew Price would wipe out expected goals. Combine that with Sochi 2014 and the 2016 World Cup, 2 tournaments where he posted sub 1.0 GAAs, and you understand why rival execs quietly list him on the Mount Rushmore of the modern era, imperfect resume be damned. Which brings us to the Roy question. Patrick owned the big moment narrative with 4 cups. Price owned the era's toughest analytics. One thrived on theatrical intensity, the other on zen minimalism. Ask 10 experts, you'll get 10 answers, but all agree on this. When Price was right, there wasn't a shooter on earth who could pry a hole in his armor. Price's influence extends far beyond crease paint. A proud member of the Okacho First Nation, he and wife Angela fund breakfast programs in remote indigenous communities and donate gear so kids can skate without boarding a bush plane, as Carey once had to. He's the national ambassador for Breakfast Club of Canada's First Nations initiatives, using his platform to fight classroom hunger one bowl at a time. In 2021, he peeled back the mask even further, entering the NHL-NHLPA Assistance Program for Substance Use Treatment and publicly urging others to seek help early. Neglecting my own mental health nearly cost me everything, he wrote from rehab. That candor detonated stigma across the league. Former pros now cite Price's statement as a turning point in how teams discuss addiction and anxiety. Inside locker rooms, his mentorship is almost mythic. Rookies describe him handing out quiet, surgical tips: how to seal the post with a dead leg, how to read a blade angle off a rushing winger, then sticking around to fire 50 extra pucks so they could ingrain the feel. Equipment reps credit him with popularizing shallower skate hollows for goalies, a tweak that shaves milliseconds off lateral pushes and is now standard in junior programs. And when Montreal prospect Caden Primo stoned a 2-on-0 in practice, Price glided over, tapped his blocker, and said, "Bank that save in your memory. It's the muscle you'll need in April." Primo still tells the story on podcasts. Culturally, Price eased tensions between Quebec's French-speaking fan base and Anglophone stars by learning enough conversational French to thank crowds in their language during post-game interviews. Small gesture, massive goodwill, charity galas book up instantly when he's slotted to appear, and auction items signed by number 31 still fetch top billing even while he resides on LTIR. In short, Price's legacy isn't confined to frozen score sheets. It pulses through empty stomach kids eating breakfast, through goalie pads stitched to his minimalist blueprint, through young pros who now see vulnerability as strength. Whether or not his knee ever lets him skate another shift, Carey Price's impact already stretches far wider than 200 by 85 feet, and that may be the most unblinking achievement of all. Carey Price's resume feels both overflowing and unfinished. Record wins, an MVP season seldom matched, gold medals coated in near invincibility, a playoff run that turned skeptics into believers, and then a knee that pressed pause before he could pad the margins. His calm became folklore, his stare a meme, his technical legacy a blueprint for aspiring stoppers. Yet the lingering what if echoes. Had cartilage cooperated, might we discuss him alongside Brodeur's 691 wins or Roy's 4 cups? Maybe, but perhaps judging him by missing chapters misses the point. Like a brilliant novel that ends on an ellipsis, Price's story invites readers, fans, shooters, future goalies to imagine the sequel, to debate late into night whether they glimpsed the best goalie of his age or only the promise of something even greater. What's undeniable is the impact he's already etched. Every time a kid squares up calmly, eyes locked on the puck as if daring it to move, Carey Price's ghost is in the crease, unblinking, unflinching, immortal.